But yes, we do have a tab. Was it this one?
So this is the Prime Minister of the UK.
No, that's not it.
Congratulations on
Oh,
EA.
here we go. Yes, this is the one. Asmongold back to making content. Asmongold back to making gold. It's over for woke games.
Congratulations on EA. Hello, new employees. Today we'll be patching the rainbow flags out of our games. Saudi Arabia has bought EA. And this is obviously like...
How many tabs do you have open? Yes, a lot. Many. I get my news from memes. I know it's fucked up, but still. I mean, get it from memes probably still more accurate than anything from the so-called mainstream media.
This is a, like a simplification. And there's a Saudi prince. So this is a guy, how do you know he's a Saudi Arabian prince? I think the amount of items that he, 9,000.
Screen name, I bought EA. Thank you so much, Reddit.
91,000 items.
Jesus.
So that's the reason why people think that he's a Saudi Arabian oil prince. And it's fake. I don't know if it is or not, but I think it's funny.
It looks real enough.
The Saudi prince has reportedly changed their Steam profile picture after EA.
It's organized chaos. It is what it is. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Raven. It is organized chaos. There is a method to my absolute madness. Sometimes the method eludes even me, but the method is there nevertheless.
EA sale. I bought EA. Thank you so much, Reddit. And so, anyway, there's that. What is that, PFP? Bro, like, they just do what they do. And so, anyway,
it's the end of gay at EA. $55 billion, that's how much it took for Jared Kushner and the Saudis to buy up Electronic Arts.
Let's go back over. I'll look at a few more of these. So, Saudi Arabia, no, here it is. And, yeah, EA has announced plans to be acquired for $55 billion by a consortium of investors led by Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia.
It is the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Saudi Arabia, and consortium of investors put together by Jared Kushner. For those of you who don't know who that is the son-in-law of the current American president. They just bought Electronic Arts.
That's right, boys. EA is getting... And by the way, what a good deal. I thought it was worth way more than that. Wait, got the FIFA? Like, I thought really? EA was worth like...
It was worth a lot less.
70 or $80 billion. I was shocked.
I mean, honestly, if somebody asked me to buy... If I wanted to buy EA, my only response would be, I'd buy that for $1. But then again, catch me on a good day. And, I might be feeling a bit generous. I'll offer him $3.50.
Shocked that it was so cheap. And so anyway, it's in the game. Yes, exactly. And Jared Kushner, yeah, he was involved with it too. Absolutely. And so let me go back. I'll show you guys some more information about this too. So I'm added the stock fell hard. Well, it doesn't matter what the stock is. The thing is that, and this is what, as I said this myself, I said, let me open this up here. I said, this is a great business move for Saudi Arabia. It fits perfectly into their strategy of consolidating and making the Middle East an entertainment and sports center. EA makes FIFA. It's very obvious.
Oh, yes. And Saudi Arabia, I think they're going to be hosting the World Cup at least once in the next few years. They've already done it. I don't know. I don't follow sports ball, but it makes perfect sense. Saudis have thrown a lot of money into football. And EA has got the FIFA franchise for video games, so yes, in that one sense, it does make sense.
Yes, that a lot of the guys, because you've got to keep this in mind, a lot of the Saudi Arabian princes at this point, and the men that are making decisions, like MBS, I think is the main one, right? But you have other guys too. You look...
MBS being Mohammed bin Salman, who is the reigning king of Saudi Arabia.
Look at these guys, and they're not 70-year-old men. Some of them are, but many of them are in their maybe late 30s, 40s, and 50s. These guys didn't grow up only in Saudi Arabia. They probably traveled internationally. They have, they've been on the internet forever.
Yes, they are world travelers. Many of the Saudi royal family have been educated internationally. Prestigious universities such as, the Oxbridges and the Ivy Leagues in America. These are people who are the elite of the elite. And these are people, they could wipe their asses after they go to the bathroom with stacks of cash that they have to their names, flush it down the loo, and it would not hurt them in the slightest. We are talking crazy, stupid levels of money that they have, to where it's just numbers on a spreadsheet, and it's just, how much do we have to throw at a problem to make it go away? How many more zeros do we have to add just to move this deal along? That is the level that we are talking about. Yes, 55 billion is pocket change for the Saudi royal family. Exactly, Rockita. Damn, I got a 3-day ban from Reddit for telling how to die besides suicide. He doesn't want to be saved. Don't think we should be revealing information like that, Rockita, and probably not a good idea to be throwing petrol on that fire. What does this mean for the Sand People in Star Wars games? Well, if EA and LucasArts decide to make another Star Wars game, it won't be shit.
They've been all around the world. These guys know where things are going. And I think it's very obvious that, oil money and the energy efficiency of oil might not always be something the Middle East can rely on. So what these guys are doing, and I think it's really smart that they're doing this, is that they're trying to recalibrate their entire industry and their entire fucking economy into entertainment, sports, and media.
Which is a lot easier to do in an absolute monarchy. You can retool an entire nation and its economy that way, if you don't have to worry about things like parliamentary democracy or bureaucrats in the civil service getting in the way. And they certainly don't have to put any of this up to a vote.
That's clearly what they're trying to do. They're trying to diversify. And I think it's a great idea. And yes, bro, exactly. They want their money spent on FIFA booster packs. Well, and here's the other thing, too. It's smart. Yeah. And the thing is that you might disagree. Oh, Saudi Arabia kills journalists. Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, they're not stupid. They're not dumb. They're not like low, like their IQ is not low. They're not stupid people.
No, the Saudi royal family did not get to where they were by being low IQ savages. They're actually quite intelligent people. Now, members of the general population, well, it's debatable. But they're not ruled by stupid people. They're actually ruled by a royal family that seems to have the best interest of their country and the best interest of the people in mind. My mother, in a roundabout way, works for some Saudi royals. She says their project to turn the desert into clean energy paradise has already failed, so they need another way to make money. This is it. Yeah, the whole thing with green energy, putting up solar farms and windmills and stuff like that, I don't think that was ever really going to work. The future for alternative energy, nobody really wants to talk about this yet, but it's nuclear power. Nuclear power is the way forward. Anything with wind or solar is just a supplemental form of green energy. It was never meant or designed to be a primary form of getting your energy. Nuclear is the way forward. Yeah, man, but still to me it's the biggest mercy to them. Damn, I was just about to say nuclear power, yeah. We're getting to the point where we can have that sort of national and international conversation about nuclear power. It's just taking a lot of the older generation that's still scared about Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island. It's actually taking the dine off of the older generations that lived through that for us to finally have those conversations. And those were accidents caused by inept government bureaucracy. Very similar to what happened with Fukushima. That was an exercise in crony capitalism and government corruption. Those reactors were a flawed design from the beginning. I believe they were designed by General Electric. GE threw enough bribe money at politicians in Japan and regulators to where they pushed through and got their approvals, and the damn thing was built anyway. And then the tsunami from hell happened. The system was entirely overwhelmed, and now a good portion of Fukushima is still uninhabitable. Though they are making progress they've made rapid progress in cleaning things up. If any of you have, for example, seen the most recent videos by Chris Broad, where he went back to Fukushima. Even several years back when I think James May went to Fukushima to interview locals, both May and Broad went to a lot of the same locations and even interviewed a few of the same people. And it has improved dramatically. It is relatively safe now to be in certain parts of Fukushima. Of course, the closer you get to the reactor sites, the worse the radiation levels get and the more unsafe it is. But the townships nearby, for the most part, they're safe. It's just, and radiation levels are low. It's just that people are still scared to come back, and so a lot of them haven't come back. Accident happens, not going to lie, either you own up and make it right or discard it. Well, see, that's the thing. Japanese government has and has not owned up to what's going on. To fully own up to that would mean a tremendous loss of face for the politicians and for the bureaucrats, as well as for companies in the private sector, such as Tokyo Electric Power. So they have been very remiss to take any sort of responsibility publicly and admit any wrongdoing. And at the same time, behind the scenes, efforts are being done just to move absolute heaven and earth to clean things up and make Fukushima habitable again for people. So it's one of those cases of it is, but it isn't. Didn't Microsoft buy Chernobyl? I don't know, but considering that that's part of Ukraine and more than likely the whole bloody country is going to be sold off to the highest bidders after the war, or even while the war is still going on, that doesn't surprise me. And also there have been recent skirmishes, according to certain sources I've been seeing, at the Chernobyl site. And it has gotten so bad that the concrete dome that they have erected over the reactor that blew up, that started to spring leaks. It absolutely scared me shitless when firefights started breaking out at the beginning of the war at the Chernobyl nuclear site. I mean, my first reaction to that, which I'm sure a lot of people had that reaction of, was, are you mad? You are basically inside a gigantic powder keg and you all have lit cigars in the form of guns. And the slightest misstep could trigger a nuclear explosion. You absolute madmen. Leaks? Damn, yeah, that's what I've been hearing. I could be wrong on that. But yes, apparently too many drone strikes, too many bullets whizzing about. Eventually those are going to impact on the concrete dome, which in and of itself is, I think, something like 10, 20, maybe 30 years old already. Stuff like that is, even though it's concrete, you hit it hard enough with something, it's going to make a hole, and it's going to spring a leak, and radiation is going to leak out. And that concrete dome has been about the only thing that has kept radiation levels down. That thing cracks open, and the whole area is going to be right back where they started. I mean, just in recent years, they have just gotten to a point where wildlife is starting to thrive again. Living situation-wise, it's still uninhabitable for humans, but they're just now getting to the point where flora and fauna is starting to thrive again in the Chernobyl area. All of that is in danger of being undone by the current conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Charlie once said, "You fool, you absolute buffoon, fit this well." Yeah. Anyways, getting off track here, let's get back to the video.
You might disagree with what their viewpoints are, disagree with what they do. It's the same as China or whatever else. The people that are running the country are not dumb. They're just simply disagreeing with you, and their values are a lot different than yours are, you could say.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that's it. Are women allowed to drive there? So I had a friend from Saudi Arabia, and he told me the reason why women didn't want to drive, women didn't drive is because they didn't want to and they were lazy, and they didn't even want to show up to say that they wanted to drive.
You know what? That tracks. I can't tell you how many women I know, but they say they hate driving. My ex-wife was the same way. She hated driving. She always made me drive. Even on long trips, I had to do most of the driving.
I don't know how often people get in accidents over in Saudi Arabia. I have no idea. But apparently they made them.
No clue.
This is like a few years ago, right? And
ex-wife, yes. If you've been a follower of any of these streams for any length, I almost talk ad nauseum about my previous marriage. But yes, I was married once. It was not a pleasant union, and ultimately she walked out on me. Not once, but twice. I told her if she did it a second time, I'd serve her with divorce. Well, she did it a second time, so I served her with divorce.
So I don't believe it. I think that they can drive now. And it's very obvious that Saudi Arabia and the Middle East are making them...
Probably missed it or forgot about it. That's all right.
themselves more westernized in the process of trying to appeal to a global audience through entertainment and media. And I think that this will...
Yeah, even the Saudis have realized they've got to meet the rest of the world halfway. And so reforms are needed in a highly theocratic state like Saudi Arabia.
Will be an interplay. So like in the same way that people criticize sports washing and they criticize, oh, wow, you know, the Middle East is doing this or China's doing this so they can have more of a cultural...
But the things that Saudi Arabia will not be moved on are LGBT issues and wokeism. That sort of thing will not work for them. Which is possible this conspiracy theorist in me could very easily be convinced that all of that was a long-term play to acquire EA for cheap, or for as cheap as they could get.
Control. I think this goes both ways. And I think that it also is a cultural exchange where when you have the people that are in that country that are seeing the way that maybe the West does things or the way that, you know, maybe Japan does things or other countries, they do things, that's going to change their perspective and their worldview also. So it's not just going to be a one-way street. It's a good thing. I think it's a positive form of globalism. I do. I am a big advocate and a big fan of a global cultural exchange where each country retains their own autonomy to do what they want, but they can like, enjoy, and engage in other cultures and other economies to the degree that they want to.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with talking to each other, trading with one another, and having cultural exchanges with one another, but still retaining unique identity. You can have all of that. That part of globalism has been proven to work. It's when you try to tear down national borders and national and ethnic identities and languages and cultures and tastes and even religions. That's where it goes too far, and that's what all starts to fall apart. And for so long, global elites have been trying to do just that. And in large part, they failed. If they were truly successful, we wouldn't be talking about any of this. It would just sort of work. But it hasn't worked, because people are not interchangeable cogs. Countries are not economic zones. They're more than economic zones. Much more. And people are unique in different parts of the world. Saudi Arabia itself has holy places for Islam, yes. And there's holy places throughout Europe and the Middle East, and even to a certain extent in the United States and North America, holy sites for Christianity. And those sorts of places, they need to be respected, if nothing more than for the cultural and historical importance.
I'm a big fan of that. And the reason why I'm such a big fan of this is because of the way that I grew up. So I grew up in Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is a massively multiracial place. And I grew up in a very multiracial environment. You know, like I was actually a minority in my high school. It was like 60 or 70% Hispanic. And then, you know, the remainder was like black and white. Like white people and black people were about equal with the like proportion of like how many people were in the school. And so like that's the way that I grew up. And I felt like that was a very... It prepared me as an individual, as a kid, to get along with anybody. And I think that then when I get on the internet and I started talking to people in Canada...
He's one of the lucky ones. Other people, not so fortunate. Other people, if that was their experience, that had to be very isolating and traumatic. Almost feeling like a stranger in your own land.
I started talking to guys in Brazil. I met people that lived in the Middle East. I asked them, I said, so what happens if like a woman goes out not wearing that thing? And they just tell you. And I think that the value of that is so indispensable. It's so valuable because I think that that breaks down xenophobia. It breaks down other types of stereotypes, and it breaks down cultural divides that I think that whenever you have two people that can deal with each other, that's what really matters. At the end of the day, it matters. It's on a personal level.
I mean, you can ask the question. You might not like the answer, though.
Can you deal with and can you live with this other person? And I think that on the internet, and correct me if I'm wrong, tell me if you guys have had the same experience too.
Xenophobia, yes, that's a irrational fear, even hatred of other cultures and other people.
I've learned that in most cases, the answer to that is yes. It doesn't matter if it's a super traditionalist Muslim, if it's a hyper liberal trans person. If we're in a raid together, our goal is killing the boss, and we can work together. And I think that being on the internet and growing up the way that I did gave me such a great insight and such a great understanding of how to do that with people. And you know this now with me as an adult. How many times do I ever have drama with other people? Do I ever have drama with other people? No, I don't have issues with other people.
Most of the time, no.
I don't have like these fights with other people.
I mean, certainly he's got his haters and detractors, but he doesn't really pay them much mind. But if he does, they soon scrub their presence off the internet because they know they can't go up against the might that is the Roach King.
Like these weird, like, you know, big issues, etc. Almost never. Yeah, never. And so, Hassan? No, Hassan, like, I disagree with Hassan on things that are political. I don't dislike Hassan really I don't hate Hassan. I just disagree with his opinions on things. Like, these are two very, very...
You're in very rare company then, Asman, because a lot of people dislike him as a person. Mainly because he's scum. If you have time to have drama as an adult, you need a job or a hobby. Yes. Although even with a job or a hobby, you're probably still going to encounter drama from people that, well, they just never grew up. They never got out of high school, of the high school mentality. Not gonna lie, never faced xenophobia. I don't think I've encountered xenophobia, though I have certainly been a target of anti-white racism. Several times in my life, actually. But it was always inevitably one of those things where those people were either caught and punished for it, or, as the ungodly are wont to do, they inevitably destroyed themselves. Or karma came back and kicked them in the arse. Deservedly so.
Different things. And I think that growing up the way that I did gave me the ability to be able to distinguish between the two things. And I think that's something that's extremely healthy. And whenever I see globalism like this happening, it makes me happy. Because it makes me hope that the next generation of guys is going to have the same experience that I did.
And they probably will, or something similar. We can finally turn the page on a dark chapter in gaming, and in the culture at large. We can finally get back to just playing video games.
Because I know that how valuable and how enriching that was for me as a person. And I hope that other people will have that too. Does that sound crazy? That's how I see things. That's the way I look at them. I'm not saying this is always the case or anything like that, but that's generally what I think. And are you sure you want to be back now and I have to deal with me? Yeah, I remember you. And yes, I do. Dearborn, Michigan? Oh, sure. I mean, you definitely have. Listen, there are instances of religious extremism that are problematic, and I totally agree with you, etc. Like, I don't want to bring Muslim fundamentalist culture into America in the same way that I don't want to bring American culture into Saudi Arabia.
No, nobody really does. Though they're going to try to bring in more Muslim culture into Western Europe, into the United Kingdom, and into North America, mostly through migration, replacement migration. They've talked about this, they have reports at the UN about it. This is what the elites want for the world. And people like the Saudis, they're okay with it because, you know, it's their people and it's sort of tribal affiliation. So they're still going to try and push that. It's up to the native populations, especially the native white European populations, to fight back against that sort of thing. And believe you me, we are going to be in for the fight for our lives. There was an interesting tweet from a contributor to the podcast The Lotus Eaters. Yes, Firas Madad had a great episode that he did with Dan from The Lotus Eaters. Episode of Brokenomics. Premium content, so you have to be a premium member of the Lotus Eaters in order to watch the full thing. But he's got about just under 9 minutes. Quick preview of the beginning part or a portion of Brokenomics. Firas is actually, I believe he's UK citizen now, but eventually was originally from Lebanon and one of the things he warned about in a sort of Lebanonization of Britain is for different communities to set up checkpoints for self-defense. It's one of the things that you see on the road to civil war. And he said, today I was informed this is already happening on a large council estate, which is 90% white, where local men are standing guard to make sure that unknown foreign men do not enter the estate. Now, for the time being, that is the equivalent of a local neighborhood watch, which, nothing wrong with that. People in neighborhoods form neighborhood watches all the time. It's probably one of the easiest, simplest, most effective ways to keep a community safe. You know, they're just looking out for the neighbors, and if they spot trouble, they notify the police. Simple enough. Nothing wrong with that. The reason that these people are forming a guard, there was at least one attempted rape on the estate, and multiple instances of harassment, more than likely from African and Middle Eastern migrants. And as the police have absolutely failed them in the UK, people are taking security into their own hands. It's the natural, logical extension of the trend, but it's a dangerous trend because eventually the foreign men are going to gang up and the locals will use makeshift arms, and the whole thing's going to escalate into armed conflict and civil unrest. Peter says, I support the British right for a simple reason. I know how this story plays out. I know the consequences of this experiment. My family saw them in Lebanon and in Jordan. We ended up in civil wars because similar experiments were run. Excess tolerance combined with loss of state authority led to disaster. In Lebanon, an entire generation was lost to civil war, and the country is yet to fully recover. My response, which happy to report Phyllis actually liked, so getting noticed by the Lotus Eaters crew is quite gratifying. It's not just going to be an ethnic conflict between white Britons and African and Middle Eastern migrants. These majority white British communities that set up these checkpoints, they will be facing the full might of police and military forces. And don't think for a second the government won't use them. They will, and they will smirk with glee as they do it. If you need an example in America of this happening, look at Waco and look at Ruby Ridge. If there is one thing that Western governments will not tolerate, it is dissident white communities forming up in these almost underground-like cells to just live their lives in privacy and peace. That is the one thing that Western governments cannot stand. Because if they get organized, it's all over. It's all over for this entire con job that has been put over on the West. I thought the Saudis disliked the fundamentalists. Wasn't there a speech given some years ago from a prince talking about the West being dumb for letting them in? I'm sure there was, but I don't doubt that those fundamentalists were fueled and funded by the Saudis, mainly as a way of, as Castro once said, of flushing the toilets of their nations to rid them of undesirable elements. UK had it coming to them. I'm not sure what you mean, but I don't agree. I think that the UK didn't deserve any of this.
I think that these two places can coexist and can have mutual respect without having to completely, be mixed together. You know, is that hard? Is that complicated? I don't think it's complicated. So, yeah, I understand. Yeah, unless they want it. Yeah, of course, right? And but it did happen in Saudi. Well, I'm not really sure what's happening in Saudi Arabia with everything. So yes, Saudi Arabia is buying EA.
If Saudi Arabia buys EA, who'll promote queer inclusion in Dragon Age? How about no one? How about we stop trying to promote the message or queer inclusion and just make Dragon Age a really good fucking game? Ever thought about that?
And a lot of people are saying, let me see if I can pull this up, gay. EA Saudi gay. The end of gay at EA. The buyout is official, $55 million deal. EA is now owned by a conglomerate which includes Jared Kushner and the Saudis. There is zero chance the studio continues with virtue signaling and DEI shenanigans. I don't think that this is as guaranteed as you might imagine, but it's not like they're going to come out with a press release and say, we're getting rid of all the gay people now.
No, the whole DEI rollback at the federal level. I was working for a company about 6 months ago, thereabouts, and was in a meeting with all of them, and they flat out told people, yeah, we don't care what the president says about DEI, we're still going to do DEI, we're just not going to talk about it. The same thing with this. The virtue signaling, the DEI stuff, the gay shit, at least in the short term, probably still going to be going on, but standing order is don't talk about it, don't make a big deal out of it. Staying on UK migration. The UK does not deserve millions upon millions of foreigners being lobbed at them like there's some sort of weapon, like cannon fodder, to shape and warp UK communities to where the native Britain population becomes a minority in their own nation. They don't deserve that, and they don't deserve to be destroyed by politicians in the Labour and Tory Uniparty that hate their own people and want them dead. None of them deserve that. London itself deserves better than being a majority-minority city that is known primarily for stabbings and sexual assaults and phone robberies and bicycle robberies and violent crime and epidemics of petty theft. Whole neighborhoods deserve better than being turned into migrant housing, and the only businesses that can operate are more than likely criminal fronts for money laundering like Turkish barbers or cell phone repair shops or vape shops. Believe you me, I saw it when I was in London last, and it's a disturbing sight, and I always felt like I was on edge the whole time I was in London, and that really did not go away until I got out of London and was in York and Edinburgh. Those were the times that I felt safe. Those were the places that I felt safe. I did not feel 100% safe in London. I always felt on edge and always felt like I had to watch my back. And the whole of the city deserves better than that, because some 50, 60 years ago, people could walk around at night in London and be perfectly safe. Londoners and Brits deserve that again. They deserve proper Britain. Small. Tinfoilish thought companies are hemorrhaging money due to changing attitudes on DEI. Why don't we set up an investor group in Saudi Arabia to sell the company to? They gain the ability to outright drop DEI and blame the Saudis, who probably don't care as long as they make money, as business as usual. Nothing really surprises me anymore, Megalum, and that may possibly be... that is a possibility. That may be what's going on. It takes an outside force with more money than they know what to do with, like the Saudis, to put an end to this sort of madness.
All the rainbow people were deleting them. They're not going to just come out and say that in the press release. But that doesn't mean that it might not happen. Obviously, I do think this will play a role in the way that different things are told, right? And also, by the way, here's some silver lining. Now,
how about they colonized countries for centuries and stole trillions? They should have limited migration. We had empires. That's not a sin. And if anything, colonization and empire did the rest of the world a lot of good. It brought civilization to places that were primitive backwaters. I hate having to keep having this debate and relitigate this over and over again with people. Empires are not in and of themselves a bad thing, and the world benefited from colonization, from the civilizing hand of the European Christian. These places that became colonies and parts of empires would have been nothing without colonization. Now, that may be an uncomfortable truth for a lot of people to deal with, but it is still no less true. And I think it's time we stop these ridiculous arguments of how colonization was somehow a bad thing. Yeah, colonization made the laptop and the phone they protest from. That's all that needs to be said. If you can't understand what you mean, they aren't worth debating with. And a lot of them aren't worth debating with anymore. I've had people try to cancel me over this very argument, and there's just no talking sense into any of them. So I've just written them off and given up on them. They don't understand because they don't want to understand. They don't want to think about these things. They just want to revert to the usual refrains of white man bad, white Christian man bad. That's all they have. That's all that drives and motivates them, is this sort of anti-white, anti-Christian racism. Honestly, it's quite hilarious that people want to complain, yet never want to put critical thought process and common sense behind it. Yes, very rare qualities in a lot of people these days. By the way, welcome in, Rosso. And also, how can you steal trillions if it was just left there and never utilized to begin with, and the native populations had no idea it was there, and didn't recognize the value of it, didn't even know what the hell it was? How can you steal something that, to the native population, they had no understanding of the true value of it anyway? How is it such an evil thing for colonizers to come into third world countries and bring in modern medicine and modern farming techniques to turn perfectly fertile land into working, more efficient farms, so that not only the natives don't starve, they can also feed other parts of the world? How is any of that a bad thing? How is it a bad thing to bring the gospel of Jesus Christ to unbelieving parts of the world, as we are commanded to do as Christians? How is it a bad thing to save souls and make sure that there is a place for them in heaven when their life here on this earth is over? No, Rex, you can only judge history based on the bad stuff. The good stuff doesn't sell. I'm here to sell the good stuff. The fact that people cannot distinguish between an immigrant and a settler in terms of history is astonishing, indeed.
Oh, there's a chance that maybe not Call of Duty, but Battlefield could have the storyline that September 11th was actually an inside job. You know, like, you stop the planes and everything and the towers still fall down. Now it's going to be Battlefield and not fucking Call of Duty, right? And there's a possibility for it now, right? Stop it. Yeah, sure, they wouldn't. I don't think they would either, but that would be absolute fucking cinema.
Not yet, anyway.
Yes, directed by Michael Bay. Yes, bro. And then, yes, oh my God, play the Linkin Park sound as they go down. Holy fuck, that would be insane.
It's been nearly 25 years. I think we can make jokes about
this. From the
this.
Saudi perspective, exactly. And Cinema Hallway, yes, this would be a proper timeline. So, yeah, we thought it was going to be Call of Duty. No, it's not. I mean, you've seen the building destruction mechanics for Battlefield, so they're already halfway there. Anyway, I don't need to make any more 9/11 jokes, right? But actually, I will, but not yet. My point is, this is probably going to change the way that EA games are being made, and it's probably going to change the way that different games get greenlit and different games get approved, right? Why did Bush do it? That's the big question, right? And not because of Saudi or Kushner's personal beliefs, but because the strategies do not make money. And this is also another really big important thing, is that why is it that all of these non-Westernized countries and companies are not pushing, you know, like a gender ideology or like a sex ideology?
Though they are funding some of it. They're funding the push for this. We know that China has been doing that for a long time.
The reason why is because it doesn't make money. Like, adding this stuff into video games doesn't make money. The only time it happens is in the West, because that's the people that really care about it a lot. And so, yeah, that's it. Saudi Arabia Games and Sony, I guess, right? And it doesn't make money. Well, it never made money, right? And that's the thing. And so EA took on debt to do it, which makes the company focus laser-like on profits and growth above all else. The whole idea of a buyout like this,
they damn well better.
Because investors believe that they can make more money on this than being public. I think they're right. I do. And here's another reason, is that...
Yeah, I think we're starting to enter... Financially, we're starting to enter an age where more companies, I think, will be taken private. And if they want money, it's going to come from VCs, from venture capital, and from private equity. There's just too much regulation and way too much scrutiny from being a publicly offered company, to the point where it's just not worth it anymore. So over the next few years, don't be surprised if you start seeing more business headlines about companies going private, because right now it just makes more business sense for a lot of them to do that.
Saudi Arabia is, like, they're trying to make their own, like, they already have their own golf league, they have their own soccer or football league as well. And they're trying to, obviously, like, EA is a vertical piece of that integration to making sure that, like, the Middle East is, like, the hub for football, soccer, and entertainment and media. Yeah, like MMA also. Yeah, of course. Their golf league is ass. Yeah, I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. Like, it's going to take them time to develop this and make it good. But the point is that they're working on it over time. And so that's really the point. Oh, Dubai hosts the Overwatch championship? Yeah, exactly. Do you think that in the Dubai Overwatch Championship, Tracer or Soldier 76 being gay is ever discussed? I've got a feeling maybe not. Oh, maybe not.
I agree. Indian subcontinent pre-colonialism was thriving as fuck. I don't know. I don't think they did too bad as part of the British Empire myself. It seems like things have gotten a lot worse since they left the Empire. But hey, that's just me.
Oh, that's going to be a no Peruskis for me. And so, yeah, Soldier 76 is from the game. Yes, he is. And, yeah, Mercy, she's from a video game? Wait, what? And it's never being discussed anyways. Well, they're not showing any key art with, like, them with their partner or anything like that at all. And I could probably see Blizzard doing that if it was something that was happening in California. I can definitely tell you that. So EA is getting bought out, etc. And then you have, this is also another person who's saying this. This is former BioWare lead writer, reads the runes on the EA Saudi deal and speculates that guns and football are in, gay stuff is out.
Nothing wrong with that. And the venerable RPG studio may be up for the chop.
Who writes a fucking title like this?
I mean, is he wrong though?
Or in and gay stuff. Like, by the way, were you trying to say, like, I'm sorry, but have you never been on the internet before? Don't tell me this is something that you're criticizing them for, because I don't think a lot of people on the internet are going to see it that way.
Yeah, we see headlines like this. It's like, you've already sold me. You don't have to sell me any harder on this. I mean, chat, Electronic Arts going back to guns and football, leaving out the gay stuff, and just getting back to making properly good games. I don't think anybody is going to complain about that. Yes, you read Indian subcontinent history, you will know. I'll certainly look into it, but as imperfect as the Empire was, you're not going to get me to say anything bad about the British Empire. It was an overall net good for the world. We owe most of modern civilization to its existence. No matter the flaws, the shortcomings, I'm not going to shit on the Empire, and I'm not going to shit on the land of my ancestors. That, going back to what we were talking about earlier, that is loyalty.
And Jesus, how many fucking pop-ups am I going to get? Oh my God. And so, yeah, our changes are going to come to Apex then, because one of the characters is trans. Is it? No, I thought they were non-binary if you're talking about Bloodhound, but maybe they added a trans character too. I have no idea. I haven't kept up with Apex ever since the game came out. So the rumor's been swirling.
What was that
sub-headline? I haven't kept up with Apex.
Who knows? Maybe the Crown Prince is a big Femshep fan. I mean, probably. We do love our Femshep around here.
So the rumor's been swirling for a while. Let me see here, and let me see if I can find and pick it up. And I wouldn't want to be sitting in a BioWare chair right now. So, and then here we go too. The rumors have been meaning the new EA is instantly saddled with $20 billion of debt and will face intense pressure to crank those profits. It's also the latest step in the Saudi Arabian investment fund's mission.
That is animal feed to these people. That is nothing. $20 billion, that is nothing. A Saudi Arabian prince probably makes that much before breakfast in the morning.
To sports wash its brutal regime by using its influence, ubiquity across entertainment industries to distract from some of the world's most appalling human rights abuses.
Nobody cares. I can tell you right now, nobody really cares.
It's working. It's working. And
yes,
you know who
primarily
else is
because
doing
nobody
it very
cares.
well? Is China. China is doing it extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the reason why, I mean, obviously, I think the country that did this first and that did this best, two countries that did it very well, I think in terms of a top-down decision to do it was South Korea, and in terms of something that happened organically was Japan. Because look at how many people are weebs now. People love fucking Japan. They love anime. You know, they all want to go there, love Nintendo, etc. That's a degree of cultural exchange and soft power that you can't really buy. It's something that just happens over time. And so love hentai. Yes, a lot of people love hentai. I heard that with young people jerk off to hentai more than they do to real girls. And I don't know what that says about the future, but
in a way, can you blame them?
I think I do, and that's not so good. And anyway, so let me see if I can find the rest of this here. And
we were actually talking about something like this in a similar vein in VC in the server the other night. I think it was Action and Rosso and myself primarily that were talking about this. And the idea of we saw last night the previews and the gameplay of the formerly gacha game called Anata. Had a big premiere over at the Tokyo Game Show. And it came up inevitably of, can you imagine if Anata had VR integration? And there would be some people that may never want to leave VR. They would want to stay jacked in because you can hang out with friends, potentially, in the game. But there's also certain romance arcs that you can have with at least some of the characters. Given the absolute state of the world as it is now, can you blame anybody for not wanting to leave a world like that, where you can hang out with your friends and even have the chance to rizz up and fall in love with an anime waifu? Because H-Grills can be drawn in any which way the artist wants, yes. Oh, Rocky, to thank you for the hydrate and stretch. Actually have been hydrating quite a bit today. It has certainly helped with the cough.
And see if I can pick it up. And where the fuck did it go? This is some of the older stuff. I don't know if there's any more of this. And fuck, EA games. I'll see if there's any more of this to go over and talk about, but I think that's basically it. And oh god.
Don't want to play with you anymore. Yeah, fuck BlackRock. Fuck those arseholes. God, what an absolute blight they have been. Just on the world in general, both BlackRock and Blackstone. And also Vanguard. Rex saying Riz makes cringe, I don't know. Perfectly fine if I say Riz.
I mean, this is what's going to happen, like, for sure. Of course, they're not going to be pushing this stuff. I think anybody could expect that. So, yeah. And it's just evolution where we all download our brains into the internet. Yeah, I guess that's what's happening. By Saudis buying EA, did we not accelerate the Robot Catgirl program? I think that we might have.
Probably.
I do. I think that there's a...
I mean, what's wrong with that? They help give rise to the Eastern gaming market, that's for sure. BlackRock's still a blight, though. They've got to go. BlackRock, Blackstone, Vanguard, all these gigantic companies that have just been pushing all of this pause in the gaming sector and just in general with the economy, they have to go. Organizations like that really, they should not exist. They have become a cancer on the world economy.
There's a good chance we might have accelerated and we might have robot cat girls sooner than we originally anticipated, which is great.
Yeah. I'll take a robot cat girl. Anyone else want a robot cat girl? Got any takers for that?
Happy. And it's about fucking time, right? I mean, damn. They borrowed $20 billion from USD to JP Morgan to buy EA. Well, it looks like that's what's going to, they're going to be trying to make as much money as possible. The quote...
I do agree BioWare was one of my favorite studios. That was a long time ago. Yeah, I really had lightning in a bottle with Mass Effect. That is truly, it was the Star Wars of games. Excellent trilogy. Ending was a little bit flawed, but I think they finally fixed it in the end with a patch. I want one to help me with the housework. Well, they'll help you with the housework and then some. We'll put it that way.
Quotes from the BioWare employees about the EA situation make me so sad. Now, how do you know that this is somebody that, like, why can't I reply?
Oh, the author's blocked you.
Ho's mad.
Ho's mad. What a fucking shock. Color me shocked.
It's a classic, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you get that all the time. And what do you expect? I mean, she's got her pronouns in a bio. I mean,
yeah. Pronouns in bio, opinion rejected.
What do you... That's the first thing you put in there. Usually people have it at the end, not her. And so, make me sad, the EA situation. I wish them nothing but the best. I hope they can continue to make Mass Effect 5 the game they want to make.
How about make Mass Effect 5 the game we, the consumer, want them to make? How about we do that? Of course they blocked the Roach King. Of course they did. He's not going to broke any sort of dissenting opinions. A tiny little brain just can't handle that. I have a feeling that directly or indirectly BlackRock and Blackstone bought stocks of Jared Kushner's affinity partners. Wouldn't surprise me. BlackRock and Blackstone they've got their tentacles in just about everything. They are absolutely terrible companies, and as I said earlier, they are absolute cancer. And really, they just need to be forcibly broken up. Forcibly broken up, assets seized, just liquidate the whole goddamn thing.
The game that they want to make.
No, I would agree. Cookie, welcome in. The Mass Effect they love, if you like the work, you put love in it. Well, that's not really what they mean. This particular person what they really meant was, as the South Park meme goes, put a chick in it, make it gay, and make it suck. And push the message. That's what the OP really meant by all of that. You have to remember, it's like the Freerin meme. For them, words are just another means of deceiving humans.
Man.
I'm pretty sure they haven't wanted what the consumers wanted for a long time, indeed. And they don't really give a damn about... Remember Andromeda with its crowd-funded voice acting? Female Krogan was very flamboyant, yes.
Where'd the picture go? I guess I can't find it anymore. But, yeah, about that. I don't know about that one. Let me see if I can pull this up again. And, we're gonna keep working until they tell us we're done. It's not the healthiest way to live, but as long as the paychecks keep coming, we're not going to just walk away. That's right. And I love this, I love this comment, because it really goes to show that the moment that these people have to endure any level of you know, like insecurity or any level of discomfort for having any values, immediately the values go away. And I think that's important to keep in mind. I'm not saying that the values don't
Principles and values can be very expensive things.
matter, but I'm saying that if these are the same people that want everybody else to carry their flag for them, they won't even do it for themselves. And so there you go.
No, because in the end, it always comes down to bitch better have my money.
I've been doing it since last year, making sure I have a portfolio ready and feelers out for the job. They say kind of feels like a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the negativity that came after Dragon Age said what.
I think I'm going to go to sleep. It's 5:17 a.m. for me. Yeah, that's a bit late, Rocky. You really should get some rest, but I do appreciate you stopping by. That is quite late. I mean, most people will shut up so long as the money flows. That much is true. Indeed. Money papers over a great many sins.
One source. If we felt it was only going to get worse then, can you imagine what some of us think now? Gentlemen, would you like a glimpse into the future? Would you like to see things?
Show us. Show us, Rich King. Show us the future. Put the fucking fries in the bag, bruh. Just put the fries in the fucking bag. Guy slop fries in the bag, Wagey.
It's not looking good for you. That's just the way it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And Big Mac, please? Yeah, exactly. No, the reason why
yes,
this is
one Big Mac extra value meal, please. Yeah, put the fries in the bag.
happening, I'm going to be real. It's because the games don't make any money. If putting a bunch of gay and trans stuff in your games made money, then this would never have happened in the first place. The problem is that these people
But it
want
doesn't,
to
because in the end, people don't really want to see that shit. They don't really want to see that shit. If anything, most people are repulsed by that sort of shit showing up in video games. Most people actually don't like it. It's just that most people are not comfortable with saying that they don't like to see that in video games because they think it somehow makes them a bad person for being repulsed by it. I'm fine with a bit of hot and sexy girl-on-girl action. Don't get me wrong. But most of us, we want to see standard, healthy, heterosexual relationships. Or, you know, the occasional crossbreeding between humans and aliens. You know, like with Commander Shepard and Juliana Tassoni. But anything else, most people have no interest in seeing that sort of thing in the video games. It's just, let us rizz up the hot chicks and, I don't know, maybe have a storyline that doesn't suck. Maybe have a video game that doesn't suck. You know, I'll take the side Yuri, but I'm not going to dive face first into Yuri slop. Precisely.
a viewpoint into a video game and then get mad when people don't buy it, and then they start crying when the company gets shut down. And here's another one. There's another video game company, Contraband, what was the Avalanche, right? Avalanche Studio. See if I can find this real quick. Yes. So there was a new video game studio, and Avalanche is imploding. So you see right here, I have reasonably confirmed the devs I spoke to used to work at studios in question. So on these sweet...
The Sweet Baby connection strikes again. Fucking Sweet Baby Inc. God damn those people.
Baby Inc. website, Avalanche Studios Group was on their list. And now...
Business of the Coast, 2K Games, Ubisoft.
A studio update
Valve.
from Avalanche Studios Group. In light of the current challenges to our business and the industry, we have thoroughly reviewed how to best ensure Avalanche Studio Group's long-term success.
Closing the
review
studio
has
in
led us to the
Liverpool.
difficult conclusion that we must make changes to our staffing and location. As a result, we are proposing to close our Liverpool studio to initiate the collective consultation process as required by UK law. This will impact all Avalanchers in Liverpool. The changes will also impact our other studio locations in Malmo and Stockholm, where we will reduce our workforce and
Oh, layoffs coming to the Malmo and Stockholm locations as well. I'm shocked. Oh no, not really all that shocked. Man, diabetic fetus strikes again. They're fucking poison, man. They are fucking pause and blight on the entire industry. And the minute that they go away, and their people are run out of the business, run out of polite society, chased off the internet, chased into some hole in some corner of the world where they're never seen or heard from again, that will be a happy day for all of us.
Structure. Guys, it's not a mass firing. They're only restructuring. It's gonna be fine.
It's mass firings. Avalanche Studios is on life support.
To address our game's needs, our immediate focus is to offer full support to the Avalanchers during this challenging time. Despite those changes, we remain deeply committed to providing amazing games to our passionate player communities. This also came about like a month after they canceled one of their games. And so anyway, that's what happens. Absolutely not a mass firing. No, it's not a mass firing. They're just shutting down entire studios. No, but that's not what's happening. Yeah, so Avalanche Studios is cooked, I guess.
They're finished.
And you see, obviously, and this is the problem.
I remember my girlfriend had a bunch of SBI games asking me, why do these games suck? And I had to tell her about it. At least she knows now. At least she knows what we're up against.
You know? 2011 to 2019. I wonder
Fucking
which
hell.
one people want to be.
Fucking hell.
Another 2011 to 2019. I wonder which one people want to be. Too bad, huh?
Yeah.
Man.
Sucks to suck.
Everything's fine. Yes. Sweden is home of Embracer. I really hope this will hit them as well. I think that this will happen to every single one of these like weird companies that's being run by activists. Like and I think that the activists inside of these companies are a cancer. And I don't think that it's like, actually it's not a cancer.
They really are, and they need to be just removed root and stem. Last straw for her was Tales of the Shire. She loves hobbits and they ruined it for her. Yeah, these people, they will ruin and destroy and take away everything you love because they are that evil and that demonic and that filled with bitterness and poison in their souls. What little soul they have remaining, if they have any at all. They will take away everything you love to push their agenda. Nothing is sacred for them. The minute we realize this and start adapting their tactics for use against them, that's when you will start to see progress. That's when you will start to see progress. Actual progress is doing it right back to them. Take away everything they love and hold dear. And one way to really throw a good scare into people on the other side who mock us and say, oh, you won't do shit. Watch us. Just say to them, watch me. Watch me take away everything you love. If they have any good sense, those words will haunt them. It's up to us to make sure they're not mere words.
An infection. And when a limb gets infected, you can't remove all the infected cells and then just keep the limb. You have to cut the whole limb off.
Yes.
And I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think that you can remove these people and then just kind of keep going as normal. I think this is a death sentence because you can't remove them because they're trying to, like, they control HR stuff, etc. You gotta just not hire these people in the first place. Blizzard is run by activists.
Get rid of them by any means necessary.
It's actually really funny that you bring that up.
Even if you have to make shit up.
Blizzard is run by activists. I haven't even downloaded a fucking ad block for this yet, so it's a little bit annoying. So the Warcraft channel just went live earlier today, and this is the deep dive into the new expansion. It only had 11,000 viewers. Oh my god.
Asman gets 4 times that
many
in a day.
Actually, that's not true. I was reading Twitter. Yeah, same shit with Ubisoft. Yes, exactly. It sounds about right. Yeah, and this, and again, like this isn't like, oh wow, this determines the game is bad or something like that. But I do think that it's worth considering that the level of enthusiasm and interest that people have has certainly gone down. Like you compare this to 2018, like even back here it was pretty popular, at least a little bit. And like you just look at some of these other ones, like it's AWC. When was the last time they did something that was not just like an event? Like when was the last time they did something where they talked about the game? It's just a bunch of like esports bullshit. So even the Mythic Dungeon Invitational was getting more views than this. This is crazy. Yeah, it's just all it's all esports stuff. A lot of those viewers are streamers from others restreaming it, though. You're right that it definitely had that's a good point that you're making, that it had lower viewers because you had people restreaming it. But I would argue that that was the same in 2021. Like a lot of people, there were a lot of times whenever I would stream to Blizzard events, I would have more viewers than Blizzard did. And I think that was very common.
That's what happens when you.
So yeah, the we call Ascension WoW video is 77k views. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about like fucking like private servers. I'm not into private servers. I'm just talking about like the baseline games. But what I'm saying is that Blizzard is, Blizzard is clearly, not doing well also. But yeah, Avalanche Studios has been shut down. So EA being bought by Saudi Arabia. Let me just kind of finish this up. What does this mean for EA? What does this mean for like, how things are going to go? I think EA is absolute.
Women's EA games after the Saudi takeover. Fuck's sake. Alaikum salam. Allah Akbar, bitches.
How about that? I don't know what to say, guys. I really don't. Soccer is haram. Yeah. So I think that there is a good chance, a very, very good chance, that things will be changing. Yeah, the social messaging in games will be going away. Expect predatory monetization to go through the roof. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, probably.
Every single fandom that revolves around a game EA owns today. Yep, that's about right. And holy fucking shit. Me after the Saudi Arabia EA buying out, knowing this will eliminate all the woke slop from EA games in the future. It won't eliminate all of them, but it will eliminate a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so, that's basically...
All of it may not be gone, but most of it. And at this point, people will take what they can get.
It. And I think this is going to be, check my chat about Ubisoft. Well, I don't know what Ubisoft is getting bought out by China. And this is the issue, is that you have a lot, and at a certain point, isn't it weird that,
I hope they do something with the Ultima series. EA's been sitting on that for decades with nothing. There's a lot of great franchises that we wish they would do more with. There's a whole catalogue of them. It's kind of sad when we have to turn to the fan mod community to get decent side-scrolling Sonic games, for example, because Sega just can't be asked. We would love to see another Mass Effect game as long as it doesn't suck. I'd love to see another Deus Ex title from Eidos and from Square Enix, but I just don't know if that's going to happen.
Either way, so my new PC...
I think we'll call it here, though, on this particular video. I think we've watched this one long enough. I will go ahead and post this in the chat for everybody to go watch the rest of it. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to something else.